Hello, and welcome to another edition of Comics and Pop. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Rosen, along with Troy Cannon and Carlos Hidaraga, and today we're going to talk about Ahsoka. Okay, it's out now on Disney Plus. We're at the halfway mark, and let's go initial thoughts, and we'll start with Troy.
When I saw the show, my initial thought was when it came on, and she was in that tomb, all Tomb Raider style, and she had to get that orb of power, that orb of ancient map questing power. She had to get that. My first thought was that looks a lot like what Star-Lord had to do, But then I realized these guys are Disney, man. So there might have been the same orb. I didn't actually look it up, but it might have been the same freaking little ball, and they just, they were like, we have billions of dollars, but we're not going to make a second ball. We'll just take the one we had in Marvel and bring it over here.
Those balls are expensive, Troy.
Yeah, those balls are expensive. So when they and she's going around to all these little shrines and she's doing stuff to it so that it will reveal its secrets, that made me think about Fifth Element. When they had to go around and squeeze the water and blow the wind and some sand and all that kind of ingredients to make the thing work. I was like, that they're still in a lot of, it felt like they were still in a lot of stuff. Indiana Jones, Fifth Element, and Guardians of the Galaxy, all in like the first 10 minutes of the show. And I don't watch the cartoon, so I didn't know who this chick was. But I remember she was in Mandalorian. And, after that, the internet was all abuzz. So I was like, oh, maybe she's important. But I don't know because I don't watch the show. And the show didn't do us any good, as far as like letting us know what was going on, because I came in there, cold. I didn't know the characters. Mm-hmm. And they don't explain any of the characters. Her Padawan walks up to her and there's just some type of tension. I was like, okay, wait a minute. Either they're ex-lovers, either one of them crossed the other one and like maybe killed a relative or something, or I don't know what's going on. They don't explain the tension. And that robot, I think he's evil because there's just too much stuff going on with him. When she was like, I need you to come down, and they were about to self-destruct, he's like, oh, I'm in space, man. I'll come down and get you. And he got her right before the explosion. And I was like, I think he's trying to kill that chick. And then later, when they were trying to get the information from the robot head, and he's like, no, I think it's going to blow up. Turn it off. And they were like, hey, just calm down. He's a robot. He's like the self-help dude. And then he just pushed the button and like destroyed the robot. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. Why would he do? He's like the servant. He's not supposed to be jumping up in front of everybody like, I got it, and push the button. And Ahsoka just told him it's cool. The girl told him it's cool, and he did it anyway. And then he's outside, and he's a robot. Now, there's something you may not know about me, but I know about robots. And I know that robots can't actually see through their eyes. They've got like sensors. They don't have eyes that they're taking information in. There's sensors and stuff, man. So that robot is standing there working on the ship, and some robots and some other guys sneak up on him and start beating the brakes off of him. And he's like, help. I'm like, he doesn't sound like, he can't speak no louder. He's a robot. He should be able to turn the volume up and speak louder, or maybe use his, communicator and talk to them on the ship. He didn't do any of that. He was just like, help. So it kind of looked like he wanted some help, but in reality, he let that other robot destroy the ship. And then, and then they just wrestled. They didn't kill each other. They just wrestled. It's a murder bot. We saw the Terminator. You get a murder bot on your back, he's gonna murder you. That's what they do. He had a murder bot on him, and they're just like dancing. But suddenly the ship gets, that robot's evil. I don't trust that robot. He's evil. But those were my first thoughts.
Carlos?
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting like a strange sense of like deja vu. You feel that? Like I feel like we talked about this stuff already, or I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy.
I think it's just you.
Yeah, it's probably just me. But anyway, so let's see. So Ahsoka. So I guess probably as the biggest Star Wars fan out of this whole crew here, I mean, so far the stuff that they put out, I've enjoyed. I guess my prejudice has always been that I'm not into. I don't really as I turn.
Don't even say cartoons.
Yeah, I stopped watching cartoons, so I don't really watch cartoons anymore. I like all the live action stuff. So I missed Rebels, which is kind of like a big part of this. And I was at the comic shop the other day. And I was talking to my friend at the comic shop, the guy who runs it, and I asked him about it. And there were other people in there talking about it. Well, no, we can't watch it yet because we need to finish watching Rebels, whatever. I'm like, did you watch Rebels? I'm like, oh. Yeah, sure. Because I don't want to, right? But yeah, I've never watched Rebels, but I know a lot about these characters. Being a Star Wars fan, so I mean, so far the show I've enjoyed. There's a lot of it, a lot about it that I like. First of all, I'm a big Rosario Dawson fan. People, I've always compared her as, I mean, we shouldn't be comparing, women to men, I guess, but she's always been like the female Liam Neeson, I guess, to me. She's always been a badass in pretty much all the movies that she's been. She's always been like a really cool character and all, in the Marvel shows that she did. She was always like a hard-nosed, character. Kind of reminds me of like a Liam Neeson type, and obviously, she's, easy on the eyes. So, but to me, I guess the reason that I like it is because the whole, I've always liked the whole Jedi part of it, and the fact that they're bringing back a lot of the original Star Wars characters, and they refer to them, and Rosario Dawson, she was actually Darth Anakin Skywalker. She was Darth Vader's apprentice. You know what I mean? She was like the most powerful of all Jedi, Sith Lords in the history of Star Wars. She learned from him, so she's a badass. I mean, people don't know who she is and don't know about her, but as far as the Jedi is concerned, she's one of the the most powerful Jedis that there is. So one of my favorite parts in The Mandalorian, which we all enjoyed, was, I don't know if it was the end of the first or the second season, when Mando and the other Mandalorians, they're fighting one of those Death Troopers, whatever, and they're getting their ass kicked. One of the Death Troopers is pretty much destroying them. They're gonna kill him. Whole bunch more of Death Troopers are showing up, and they're like, all right, the Mandalorians are all dead because they can't handle one. They're gonna handle a whole army of them. And then Luke Skywalker shows up, and he just walks through the thing, blah, 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 destroys all these Death Troopers like nothing. Mandalorians are like, the fiercest warriors of the galaxy, and one Luke Skywalker shows up and kills a whole freaking troop of these Death Troopers that the Mandalorians couldn't even handle. Because to me, the Jedi's, I associate the Jedi's, to me, are the Avengers of the Star Wars series. They're superheroes. The Jedi's are superheroes. They have superpowers, right? So I think that they're doing Rosario Dawson is doing the Ahsoka character well. And I mean, we'll get into the other characters as well. But Thrawn in the Star Wars universe, he's supposed to be the next big bad. He's supposed to be the next Darth Vader type bad. So the fact that they're bringing him in, I hope they do him right, because in the Rebel cartoon, I guess he's like, all the people who watch that, they love the guy. I mean, this is Comics and Pop. I don't have his first appearance, but this is this is his first solo, I guess, series. But this is what he really looks like. This is what he's gonna look like. But that's what he looks like. He's a blue badass dude. So I can't wait till
which is riveting for the people just on the audio portion.
Of course. Well, I know that out of our 10 fans, I know that 7 of them watch the show. So this is for the 7 of them that watch the show. But those are my initial thoughts.
Okay, well, my initial thoughts, and this I can sum up in one word, is meh. I feel, out of the three of us, I'm a huge Disney fan, always have been a huge Disney fan. I used to think Disney can do no wrong, and I see that that's not the case. I think Disney does plenty wrong. To me, Disney's ruined Marvel. They've ruined Indiana Jones, and they've also now ruined Star Wars. There's nothing going on here for me, for one. I said this, I'm folding my arms, crossing my arms, looking at Stan That's a whole scene in Ahsoka. It's like people just staring at each other, nothing happening. I hate the part that now, a lightsaber can go through your body and nothing, it's a flesh wound. It's like, the Monty Python, the Black Knight, nothing kills with the lightsaber now. The Force, I know that the Force is supposed to be going through everyone, but like that anyone could just now have it and totally control it and powerful with just like a couple of minutes. Oh, look, I have the Force. Look, I'm going to do all these things over there. Nothing makes sense in it there too. It's they're changing all the legends that we know of, that we brought, all the training that Anakin had to do, all the training that Luke had to do. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. It started in the last trilogy, and now it's continuing here. It's just nothing special to me. And as much as we say we love Rosario Dawson, then give her something to do. There's so many passages here that like nothing's happening. They're just staring straight ahead. There's a lot of staring in this show. Which makes for riveting television. I'm okay with it. It's just like, it's something to do. It's another series that I probably wouldn't have continued unless we were going to be discussing it here. So that's really the only thing that's forcing me to continue on with it. But all right, we'll take a little bit of a deeper dive. Troy?
What you just said made me think about something. Everybody being able to use the Force. At first they said, you had to be Force sensitive.
Right.
And then they changed the lore and said you had to have those metachlorians or whatever in your system. You had to have those bugs in your system, and then you were Force sensitive. But then I remember the coolest name in all of Star Wars, FN-187, the John Boyega character.
Right.
Because his name is FN-187. 187 is murder. So his name was effing murder. I thought that was the coolest name, but FN-187 picks up a lightsaber and turns it on. I saw an interview with Samuel L. Jackson where he said you have to have the metachlorians in your system in order to activate a lightsaber. It's not just a switch on and off. You've got to be Force sensitive to use it because it's basically a laser. You turn it on, it should just go pew and just fire off into space. But they hold it at a certain degree with the Force, with their power, and they're using it, but a regular person shouldn't be able to even turn one on. And FN-187 turned one on. So I was like, okay, well, either he's Force sensitive and had absolutely no idea through his entire life until this very moment, or like you just said, everybody now has part of the Force and they can just do, some of them can probably Force push each other.
Well, they keep changing the lore. They keep whoever suits their story at the time.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of that. That's one of the reasons that I have a problem with DC, because they keep changing everything. So Wonder Woman's a god now. She used to be just a chick made out of mud that they brought to life. Now she's a freaking goddess. I don't like that. But back to this. One of the things I noticed was when the big guy, Brolin or whatever his name is, the big dark Jedi type dude, Stevenson, when he was introduced, that girl was with him with the short white hair, who I dig because she looks murderous. I dig that. If you're going to have a show about murderers, you got to stick somebody in there that looks like they're going to kill somebody. And she looks like she wants to kill everyone on the show. So I dig that, but it was them too. And then by the second or third episode, Marco showed up. And that's confusing me because I don't know, because it's supposed to be a Sith Lord and a Sith apprentice. That's it, But who's Marco? I was thinking. And then he takes his blade out and it's spinning. So I was like, oh, well, he's an Inquisitor. He's somebody that got the Force, but he didn't become a Jedi. Well, he was a Jedi, but then he left. But he couldn't become a Sith because there's already two. So he's kind of floating in the middle. So he's an Inquisitor. But then I started wondering about the guy, because he's not Sith, and his apprentice isn't Sith, but he's clearly not a Jedi. He's sympathetic towards the Jedi. When they tell him he's got to kill Tano, he's like, but he's not Sith. his apprentice isn't Sith, and they're not Jedi. So I'm thinking they got.
I mean, I guess, well, the big, like the next episode they're gonna put like in the movie theaters and stuff is supposed to be so major and good. You can do one after that one and do Ahsoka, do Ahsoka from season 5 on and stuff. Because I don't,
when Disney says this is going to be so great and so good, I can't wait for that.
I mean, like I said, I like this. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I mean, the thing about this thing is that none of us never watched Rebels. Had like 80 episodes.
Right.
It's like they did it for like 5 years. So this is like we're like it's like watching what's the new Game of Thrones thing? Whatever, I forgot what it's called. It's like watching that. It's like watching that and never watching Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are these people? So that's kind of like where we're at because the Rebels was it like the stuff for the Star Wars fandom, like the geek, like the real hardcore Star Wars. These Rebels is like huge. I mean, they're like they like that just as much, if not more, than the original Star Wars trilogy.
Rebels that I heard was good. I haven't seen it. I heard that one was good.
That's what I'm saying, right? But this is the continuation of that. Basically, this is taking off where that left off. So, it's we're like kind of like it's like I'm enjoying it because like I'm a Star Wars guy and I like and I like where they're going and I've heard of these and I've read a little bit about it, but I've never watched the actual show and I probably never will because of the whole cartoon aspect. But this is like I said, I like it.
So we can get something to salvage here. So what do we give it? What do we give our final thing? What do we give our number on a scale of 1 to 10 now? So Troy, what do you think on this?
If I would have known more about it, if I would have understood the dynamics of some of the characters, probably a higher number. But it seems interesting, and the people who know what's going on are probably going, "Oh, look at that!" But I don't get that because I don't know. I don't have any connection to any of the characters. But I would say 7.
Carlos, and what do you want to see happen too? Yeah.
So far, I give it an 8. I'm really liking.
You give this an 8.
Character.
You really give this an 8.
Yeah, I'm liking the characters. I'm really, like I said, I mean, I apologize to like all the Star Wars geeks who are going to watch this and are probably cringing because we've never watched Rebels, and are like, how do you not know who these people are? How do you not, Ahsoka Tano is one of the most powerful Jedis, in the world over here. Like,
but she's not doing anything. Huh? She's not doing anything.
But neither did like the old school Jedis, and they all walked around, la la la, and they didn't do much. When Luke Skywalker showed up at the last thing, he just showed up and walked through the thing, went room, all destroyed, and we're all like,
right. But he did all that. But did he just stay and stare at someone?
Huh?
In the first
movie,
I'm saying, when Darth Vader and Ben Kenobi met, did they just stare at each other?
But I mean, maybe we're watching 2 different shows. But she's like, gone to war with her. She's taken out her what do you call it? Her lightsaber, and she's killed a few people already. It's not like I mean, I'm seeing action. I mean, maybe I'm like I said, I see action. I see the Padawan Sabine. She's killing it with this other kid that Shinhati. Balin's character is really cool. He's not a Sith. He was a Jedi. He was actually a Jedi who left the Order. And it's kind of like believes in the whole Empire. So that's why he's trying to take Thrawn back and stuff. Because they believe that Thrawn is their he's like their savior that's going to bring the whole empire back and stuff. So that's the whole thing behind that. But it's I'm like I said, like I love this stuff, and in the end of the last one we saw Anakin show up, the actual actor who played Anakin. So to me that's like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like I'm like geeking out over this stuff because I love this stuff, so
when I ask both of you about when now that lightsabers go through your body and just like, oh, I'm okay, don't worry.
Bro, Anakin Skywalker fell into lava. Half his body burnt off, and they saved him. They all, Luke Skywalker, they chopped his arm off and stuff. And he's like,
chopping your arm off is not the lightsaber.
Princess Leia got
right.
Princess Leia got blasted into space.
Right. If a lightsaber goes through a regular person, it'll kill him. But these are Jedi. You know what I mean? If they cut them in half, yeah. But if a lightsaber goes through, these people are Jedi. They're like superheroes. You know what I mean? It's like You know, it's like when Iron Man got Iron Man's not even a superhero, and what's his name? Thanos stabbed him through the freaking heart with like a giant thing, and he just sprayed himself with something, and he survived. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are superheroes. So when we're looking at the Jedi, we have to look at them with the eye that they're superheroes. They're not regular people. They're superheroes. They have superpowers. You know.
I forgot to mention what Troy just mentioned too about the going into space. Everyone can go into space now, no problem. We're gonna go into space.
The Jedi's can. Yeah. Remember back in the older movies when there was a problem somewhere in a planet, they would send 2 Jedi, and the 2 Jedi would go in there and handle, take on armies and stuff and fight armies. Just 2 Jedi, That's why they always had a Jedi master and his apprentice. And they would always go out and solve problems in different galaxies or different planets and stuff by themselves, because they're Jedi, they're superheroes, They're like Avengers, let's send Thor and Captain Marvel to do this, whatever, and they'll take on a whole freaking army because that's their superpower. The Jedi Order, there's only a few of them. There's not like there's millions of them. There's only a few of them. These guys they're like, I'm like geeking out over here with Star Wars. But yeah, these are superheroes. They're not regular people.
I got 2 thoughts I got to throw in real quick. One, before I freeze again. One, I think we know for sure 2 people are going to die. Ray Stevenson's character's got to die because the actual actor died, so his thing has got to end at some point.
Right.
Ahsoka's got to die because this stuff that we're watching now happens in between the Empire and the First Order, and she wasn't in any of the First Order stuff, so she's got to die or become a hermit or whatever.
Right.
She's not a part of it, so she's probably going to die. The next thing is if they really wanted to, if it was me and I was a Jedi and I was like, oh man, why all of the Jedi are gone? There's so many people who are Sith or who are Force sensitive. You got the Sith, you could probably turn to Sith. You got Inquisitors, you got the Knights of Ren who just popped up from nowhere wearing red suits. You got those guys. You could probably turn a Night Witch, one of those Night Sister chicks. They know how to use the Force pretty good. And then you've got like the Dagon Order. You got all of these people who have the ability to use the Force, and some of them even use lightsabers. And nobody is like, we got to rebuild the Jedi Order. Look at all these people who've got power. Go to them and say, hey man, become a Jedi. We got great benefits. You can get stabbed in the gut with a lightsaber and not die. You can float through space. We can teach you all of these great Force lightning. Wouldn't you want to know some Force lightning? If it were me, I would go to all of these people. Even some of the Mandalorian are using Force now, and some of the what are the guys in the white suits, the stormtroopers, because when they were fighting with FN 187, greatest name ever, when they were fighting with that dude, the chick pulled out like a mechanical lightsaber and was fighting with him and beating him down. I'm like, wait, they got lightsabers too now? She must have maybe been Force sensitive, or maybe they know a way to work around it so they can use the Force to their benefits. I mean, when we were a younger race of people, we thought lightning was magic. And now we're running it through tubes so that we can talk to each other across the country and stuff like that. It's heating our houses. We've learned to use it. They should, with their technology, it seems like they would learn to grab a hold of the Force and power their ships or weapons or whatever. There's got to be some other people out there that they could add to the Jedi. The Jedi should not be dying. That's my point. That's it. I'm done.
And we talked about this the other day too. I can't even hear Ray Stevenson without thinking of like a 70s blues singer. That's it's not even like a great name to me.
He was the Punisher, man. Remember?
Yeah.
He was the Punisher.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of stuff, Ray Stevenson.
He was in Thor.
Yeah, he was in Thor. He was, what's his name? What was the guy?
The dwarf guy with the beard. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, my tally so far for this is I'm giving it a 6 so far. I'm hoping it gets better in the second half of this. And this is one of the reasons that I'm so worried about, with Disney, that what Deadpool's going to be, what Daredevil's going to be, that, I'm just, that Disney's killing all
Disney too? Is Deadpool really Disney or is it more Sony?
Is what?
He's Disney now.
Deadpool's Disney now.
Yep. So I'm definitely concerned about that. That it's going to be like really.
For me, I'm like the opposite of Jonathan because I was never really a Disney fan until they acquired Marvel and all that stuff. And Disney for me was more for like kids. They had all the kids movies and stuff. And I got kids, so I watched all the movies. A lot of them. A lot of classics. That I enjoyed and stuff.
Well, but yeah, no, but I that's why I enjoyed Disney. But I'm saying they're two separate entities to me. Disney. Right. To me is for kids, a lot of things. It's family entertainment, but that's right. What they're doing. They're bringing down the others to try to make it, dumb it down, I guess is the best way of saying it. The Star Wars, right. Indiana Jones and the Marvel stuff. It's not, doesn't have the edge to me that it should have. And I don't know. I'm not thrilled. I'm definitely not looking forward. I am looking forward to it, but I'm worried about Deadpool. I think Deadpool is supposed to be a really hard R. And
quick history lesson for me. When did they acquire Marvel? Like when they made like Iron Man, like the original Iron Man and all started the whole phase 1. Was it already Disney or was it still separate?
I think it was already
Stan
there.
Lee, it was separate, but Disney said that Stan Lee said it was separate because he wanted to still have ownership of all of those properties.
Yeah, I guess
Disney said since the beginning.
Yeah. I want to know like when they actually took over, so we can I guess to see the difference in because
it was like an episode
up to phase 4. All it was all awesome to me. Everything was fantastic. The Avengers, Infinity War stuff. I wonder if that was Disney then or if it wasn't.
Is that when Feige took over?
I don't remember. I don't remember. I'd have to look all that stuff up and be prepared for one of these things.
I don't like anything that he's doing, but. Anyway, let us know in the comments, again, why I'm right or why they're wrong. And, yeah, and give us your thoughts. Anyway, this has been Comics and Pop. I'm Jonathan Rosen, along with Troy Cannon and Carlos Hidaraga. And please subscribe.
Subscribe.
That's bad.